The best piece of advice a writer can receive is this: never show your first draft to anyone. If you've shared your first draft before, don't worry, the writing gods absolve you. But no writer in the history of the world has really written a great first draft. That means you're not a bad writer if you write a bad first draft. It means you're a writer, and writers revise. What we call writing is really revising. When writing the first draft, you should focus on pouring everything you've outlined, jotted down, and conceived of into something that exists. But the most important first step of writing is completion. Something completed is better than something incomplete. Once you complete the first draft, the real writing begins as you revise and shape what you wrote into something more effective in communicating to a reader what you want to communicate. Let me share 4 exercises you can use when revising what you wrote. First, the drawer rule. Writing a first draft means pouring so much of your energy out. Not only would it make sense to take a break, but it also will serve your second draft to take a break. Hence, the drawer rule. When you write your first draft, let it go by putting it in the drawer. If you type your first draft, then put it away in a file folder you won't see every day. Why? So you can have fresh eyes. The process of drafting requires you to become quite acquainted with what you write. Thus, you need to take breaks during each drafting stage to distance yourself from what you write. By giving yourself a week or even a month between drafts, you can return to the work and have a fresh lens in reading what you wrote. You will see what you wrote and discern what works, and more than likely, what doesn't work. Don't worry if you cringe and ask, did I really write that? We all do that. Yet, completing the drawer rule and rereading what you wrote will allow you to chisel details for a leaner, meaner work. Second, the memory exercise. Let's say you wrote down everything in your first draft. You place it in a drawer, but don't take it out. Instead, open a new document or take a new piece of paper and write the story or poem again without looking at the first draft. What? Yes. In real life, our stories change as we distance ourselves from a previous reality and we only remember the important details. This exercise attempts to accomplish that same process by forcing you to rewrite from memory, letting go of certain things or plot points that feel less worthy. As a writer, you want to approach revision making careful choices about what deserves to belong or not. Third, change the perspective. When you write a story or a poem, you write with a speaker or narrative point of view. Someone, even if it's not the protagonist, serves as the tour guide of what you write, the lens in which we experience the story or a poem. For a second draft, change the tour guide or the lens. Rewrite the story from the antagonist point of view or from a minor character's point of view. Consider this a test of your perspective or who the story or poem belongs to. Who deserves to tell the story? What is the right lens for experiencing the story? And last, get rid of was, is, and will be. Those two be verbs have a name, passive voice. A lot of writers believe in the dogma of active voice, which can feel daunting and overrated. Sometimes saying or writing is simpler and more effective. But everything you write should have a reason for existing. Revising with active voice in mind, altering she is to she fault, challenges each way you write a sentence. Having too much was and is usage reads passively, whereas a more active voice reads with conviction and force. A man is trying to save his son's life sounds weaker than a man fights for his son's life. As you revise, consider each to be sentence and spend time considering how you can rewrite that sentence with a new, more active voice.